Hello, and welcome to the Biomass Magazine podcast. I am your host, Anna Simet. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I have with me my colleague, Danielle Piekarski, content coordinator and marketer for BBI International. And if you've presented at any of our events in the past couple of years, you likely know Danielle. She's amazing at assisting our speakers out with whatever it is they need. And she does a lot of the behind the scenes work with our agendas. So, Danielle, hi, welcome.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for introducing me.
Yes, this is going to be fun. So we're here today to talk about the upcoming International Biomass Conference and Expo, which is being held in Atlanta, Georgia, March 18th through the 20th, my favorite show of the year. And as I mentioned, you're kind of our speaker's right-hand man. So what is your favorite thing about this role?
Yeah, without a doubt, my favorite part of working with speakers is just the people. I get to work with so many new and old connections for all of our shows, and just with the volume of communication that we have in preparation for the event, I develop a lot of close working relationships with the speakers. So my job is basically to equip our speakers with the resources and the information that they need to be confident and give a successful presentation. So when I see speakers with a line of audience members waiting to speak with them, or hearing that they ran out of business cards, or even just hearing from them that everything went well and they already have ideas that they're generating for next year's presentation, that all feels really rewarding to have contributed to a speaker's success in their presentation, because I know how much time they invest in that presentation in their company and overall just the advancement of the biomass industry.
Yeah, that makes sense. And speakers from all over the world, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And you are so fantastic at what you do. I know you are very appreciated.
Thank you.
So moving on, we're here today to talk about our agenda and abstracts. So I think a good starting point is maybe have you explain, how our agenda is set up.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, we have 4 tracks of content that run throughout the 3-day event. Those 4 tracks are Track 1, Pellets and Densified Biomass, Track 2, Biomass Power and Thermal, Track 3, Biogas and Renewable Natural Gas, and Track 4, Sustainable Aviation Fuel or SAF, which is a bit different this year, but we can get into that later. We also encourage presentations on material handling and storage, and hydrogen production, storage, and infrastructure as they relate to those topics I mentioned previously. So on Tuesday, March 18th, we will kick off sessions in each track early in the afternoon, and those will run until we have the grand opening of the Expo Hall and the welcome reception, which is always a great time. And day 2 starts off with general session, where you'll be handing out industry awards and facilitating a discussion between a group of industry association executives. Those executives will also be giving their own individual presentations before getting into that discussion. After general session, there's lunch in the expo, and we have concurrent sessions running all afternoon into day 3, where concurrent sessions run until the show concludes in the early afternoon as well.
I just want to give a plug out for our awards. We do Excellence in Bioenergy, Groundbreaker of the Year. We take nominations. We're actually taking them now over the next few months. So if you're interested in nominating somebody, go to biomassconference.com, and there is a tab for the awards.
Yep. And right now we are also still accepting abstracts from any interested speakers. So if you would like to submit an abstract, you can also visit biomassconference.com. Just hover over the agenda tab and select Become a Speaker. There you'll see a list of topics we're seeking within each track and some specifications that we offer to help you create an effective abstract. There's just a black button that says Submit Here. That's where you'll get started. And that deadline to submit an abstract is November 15th. After that, we send all the abstracts to our programming committee, and by November 25th, we receive all their feedback. If your abstract is accepted, you will receive an early Christmas present, which is a gift of an email from me saying that you'll be included in the agenda. And those emails will be delivered by December 6th. We'll take one more week to sort of fine tune and arrange panels that we've created before posting it live the week of December 16th. And you'll see once the agenda is posted, panels are comprised of 3 to 4 speakers and a moderator. Each session includes an individual presentation from each speaker and then an audience Q&A that will be facilitated by that moderator. So sessions are 90 minutes long. Speakers receive 18 to 22 minutes to present depending on their panel size, and that leaves about 20 minutes for that audience Q&A. So I think that's pretty much everything abstract-wise. Do you want to get into what sort of topics that we're looking to cover in each track?
Yeah, let's do that for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, we can just start with track 1, pellets and densified biomass. Anna, you edit Pellet Mill Magazine in addition to Biomass Magazine, Biodiesel Magazine, and SAF Magazine. What are some hot topics, buzzwords, and like any themes you're seeing across the pellet industry?
Yeah, so I'll start with our traditional panels. We always include fire and explosion protection, dust control. Sometimes we even have 2 full panels focused on this. And it's just never a tired topic as it's a critical issue in the industry. And, there's a big push right now in the heavy industry to decarbonize. And I think it would be great if we had some presentations related to that and wood pellets' potential role, or even just densified biomass. For example, in Biomass Magazine, I'm about to run a story on Steel Dynamics, an AMEM's plant that's under construction in Mississippi. And that plant will produce biocarbon pellets to replace coal at 3 steel manufacturing plants. So it'd be great if we could get some abstracts on the potential of wood pellets in heavy industry, biocarbon, biochar. Typically, the rooms are always full when we have those topics. Shifting gears a little bit, one thing that's been top of mind is the European deforestation regulation. And I think this will probably be discussed a little bit during the general session. But it would be great if someone could really get into the weeds and explain how this is going to affect wood pellet exporters. And this is a complicated policy to explain in a few words, but in short, it requires a very challenging degree of due diligence for importers and exporters of certain products, including wood pellets. And there has been a proposal to delay implementation, making it a little over a year before compliance is required. But I think a presentation on this would be very well attended. And, by the time the conference comes around, that's 8 months out for the compliance deadline. And then finally, I would say in the past, we have had a Wood Pellet 101 panel that was very popular. We do get plenty of attendees who are new to the industry. And then also, it's always good for a refresher. Presentations relating to increasing plant efficiency and profitability, optimizing at plants is always well received. Those are my ideas for that track.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. So up next, we have track 2, biomass, power, and thermal. Can you tell us what's hot in that space right now?
Yeah, so this track commonly hosts a lot of our technical presentations. It's typically technology focused, and I would say it trends in the direction of logistics, including drying and storage of biomass materials, transporting, conveying. I think one of our most popular panels in this track last year was one focused on increasing efficiencies and reducing carbon intensity of biomass power generation. And, most of the biomass power and waste energy plants in this country are quite old and aging in need of upgrades. So I could see presentations for that being very well received. And I also think this track is where things like carbon capture come in. I'd love to see a panel focused on, different aspects of BECCS, biomass energy carbon capture and storage. And then finally, gasification, hydrogen production, CHP, I think are all solid topics in this track.
Awesome. I saw a Beck's abstract come in earlier today, so it sounds like
Oh,
we're on the
awesome.
right track there. On to track 3,
Hmm.
biogas and renewable natural gas. What's going on in this sector, and what do you anticipate that you'll be seeing in this track at
Hmm.
IBCE this year?
Yeah. So within Biomass magazine, a word that I've seen mentioned a ton lately is co-processing and anaerobic digestion. That's really big right now. I would love to see something on lessons learned in project development. As you know, this sector is growing incredibly fast, and we are just wrapping up our 2025 US and Canada renewable natural gas map, and we have over 500 project listings on it this year, which is crazy.
Hmm.
So I would like to see project finance and partnerships. This is a big one here because you see so many joint ventures in the biogas and RNG space, and maybe some actual case studies of successful projects. That always goes over well in this track. And then I think finally maximizing profitability through programs like the RFS, the LCFS, and the Inflation Reduction Act.
Great. Okay. Last but not least, we have track 4, sustainable aviation fuel. Historically, tracks 1 and 4 are the ones that we receive the most abstracts in. And this year, we've made a slight change to track 4's focus. So, could you explain what the
Yeah.
purpose of that change is, in addition to the current state of the SAF industry?
Yeah. So, as you said, we went from advanced biofuels to SAF. We really decided to change the track to SAF for what are probably pretty obvious reasons. The SAF Grand Challenge and the global push to decarbonize aviation has just pushed a huge growth of interest in this sector. Last year, we had a really high volume of SAF related abstracts, and I think we're already seeing that this year, aren't we?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, so what we're really doing is inviting people to submit abstracts focused on all aspects of the SAF supply chain, from feedstock sourcing, availability, and pretreatment processing. This seems to be a really big issue in the industry right now, to conversion technologies, project finance, market projections. We recently held our North American SAF conference in Expo in St. Paul, as you know. The event was a huge success. And just being these events are about 6 months apart, I think it's obvious there was a bigger place for SAF at the IBCE. And it's really exciting to make this change. So, yeah, we welcome everyone from all walks of the SAF space to participate this year.
Awesome. Are there any topics that don't necessarily fall into those specific categories that you'd like to see?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but if you can't find a category that you think your abstract fits in, reach out to us or submit it anyway. And, we will do our best to find a place for it because, sometimes these tracks aren't quite all encompassing and we would
Hmm.
still love to hear what you'd like to present about.
Yeah.
But Danielle, curiosity, do you have any recommendations as to what not to do in terms of submitting abstracts?
It's not a short and sweet thing. So, the more descriptive and detailed you can be, the better that's going to be for us. And the more likely it will be that you're placed on a really fitting panel where we're able to get you into people who are in the same sector of the industry with you and give the audience a really cohesive topic. We generally ask word count to be about 200 to 400 words, but we don't have a limit. So we generally say that's the sweet spot without getting too into the weeds, but also providing us with enough detail. A lot of these topics are technical, of course. So if you can display to us that you're able to put these very, very technical processes into layman's terms, sort of, just something that would be easier
Hmm.
to understand for someone new to the industry or someone who doesn't exactly work in that department. That is also a great sort of step to submitting an effective abstract.
Right. Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think underlining is try to avoid sales pitches.
Yep, for sure.
Companies like to talk about their technology and service and stuff, but it can be a little stale if it's, blatant commercial, but we don't get too much of that anyway. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. Well, Danielle, I think that's all that I have to chat about this. Did you want to kind of wrap things up by reminding everyone where and when to submit these once again?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if you're interested in speaking at the 2025 International Biomass Conference and Expo, go to biomassconference.com, hit the agenda tab, select Become a Speaker. You'll have the submission link there and all of the information you should need there as well. Make sure to have that abstract submitted by November 15th. And if speaking isn't really your thing, you can also reach out to speakers at bbiinternational.com about becoming a moderator and just kind of facilitating the discussion of the speakers on your panel. So again, if you have any questions or issues submitting your abstract, reach out to me at speakers@bbiinternational.com. And that is all from me. Thank you, Anna.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Danielle. Once again, the International Biomass Conference and Expo is being held in Atlanta, Georgia, March 18th through the 20th. Find more at biomassconference.com. We look forward to getting your abstracts. Reach out to us anytime with questions. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.